welcome to my channel. I'm Fornax, and today we're talking about World v World, specifically the active restructuring beta, as well as looking at all the new exclusive rewards added to the game type, and my thoughts about all this as a World v World player, and what I would like to see in the future. Now, for those who do not know what World vs World is, I will explain in brief. For those who do, you can jump ahead, chapters are below. World v World is one of the core types of endgame content for Guild Wars 2. It sits in the combat-based content tent alongside raids and fractals and open world shenanigans. It's a hybrid of PvE, player versus environment, and PvP, player versus player. World v World takes place on massive open world maps where 3 factions vie for control of camps, keeps, and castles. Large, commander-led raiding parties rampage across these maps, skirmishing, conquering, defending, and generally trying to beat the snot out of each other. Larger groups are known as blobs or zergs, and smaller groups are known as havoc, or less kindly, gankers. And I hasten to add, this is not a Hulk smash situation. There is a lot of tactics in World vs World in more ways than one. From resource logistics, fortification and infiltration strategies, to siege management and locations, as well as choke and attack point strategies, group composition and defense plans. Honestly, I'm currently exploring the depths of this game type, and as a fairly rubbish Wednesday evening commander, there's a lot to learn. Join my fail raids at your peril. As it stands, World v World is the last bastion of server-based gameplay matching. But what is that? So if you would like to come and join my Wednesday fail raids, you will need to be on the EU Pycon server, or be lucky enough to be matched with Pycon as an ally on any given raiding week, which is where the current beta comes into play. So this is what the devs have to say on the matter. We are currently overhauling how teams are created in World vs World to improve player population balance and give you fresh new foes to cross swords with each week. This new system, titled World Restructuring, moves away from using worlds or servers as the basis for teams. It will instead use your selected World vs World guild to place you on a team alongside your chosen community. And this is how you currently select the guild you wish to World v World with. The team is testing this new system as we speak. The beta will be running until the 23rd of June. So if you head into World vs World at the moment, congratulations, you're in the beta, and thank you for your service. So how stable, how beta is the beta? Well, I've been playing since it released and I've had 0 issues. However, I do know a few players who have not been correctly linked to their selected guild. Sadly, beta is almost always gonna beta, so let me know if you've experienced any World v World bugs during the event, and please do let the devs know as well. And I have good news, for your beta testing efforts will be rewarded with some lovely participation rewards. The new World v World exclusive War Machine set could be yours if you complete the Restructuring Beta Veteran Achievement. So how do you do that? Well, you will need to successfully capture or defend 5 objectives during the period. You'll also be getting a 100% bonus to World Experience, a 25% bonus to Reward Track Progression, and a 50% bonus to Magic Find during the testing. However, this is not the end of the new shiny things added to World vs World recently, so let's dive into that. There are quite a few new bits and bats to spend your hard-earned World vs World currencies on. A new vendor, Dugan, has been added to bases in the Eternal Battlegrounds, Alpine Borderlands, Desert Borderlands, and inside the Armistice Bastion lobby. Each week, this vendor offers World v World experience boosters, Mystic Clovers, Memories of Battle, Provisioners, tokens for anyone crafting legendary runes and sigils, siege blueprints, ascended feasts, and more in exchange for World vs World currencies such as World v World skirmish tickets, emblems of the Avenger, and badges of honor. I'm currently working my way through crafting World vs World legendary armor, as well as Astralaria and ad infinitum, so a new way to collect clovers is very welcome indeed. The RNG gods have not been kind to me of late. But there's more. Mist-hardened Lockboxes are a new drop. to WvW, but what are they? This is what the devs have to say. A new WvW reward lockbox is now available for completing WvW dailies and weekly WvW meta achievements, and as a drop from Tower Keep and Stone Mist Castle Lords. The lockbox has a chance to drop the new WvW exclusive infusions, crafting materials, memories of battle, WvW experience boosters, ascended feasts, and the new WvW exclusive Officer Remnant weapons. Mist-hardened Lockbox keys, which are required to open the lockboxes, are available from each individual WvW weekly achievement and can be purchased from the new vendor, Dugan. These are the Officer's Remnant weapons. They are indeed lovely, but sadly I've not had one drop yet. I live in hope. And before you go, let's talk about the infusion. A new Mistwalker Infusion has been added to World vs. World, and a countdown version of which is available to purchase from Dugan after completing the new Mist Research achievement, which is located in the WvW section of your achievement panel. This mini achievement can be completed in about 30 minutes. A tradable ball of charged mist essence containing the infusion can be obtained by defeating Keep Lords and Stone Mist Castle Lords, and as a rare drop from Mist-hardened Lockboxes. But the achievement is not the only thing you need, so if you want to buy this lovely infusion from the dashing, if slightly singed Dugan, you'll need 5,000 skirmish tickets, 3,000 badges of honor, 20 emblems of the Avenger, and 2 emblems of the Conqueror. Links below to the Guild Wars 2 wiki about acquisition of these items. What I will say is that most dedicated veterans have more currencies than they know what to do with, and got this infusion as soon as it landed in game. This is Omi, the guild daddy of Blub, my WvW guild, links below if you'd like to join, showing off the new infusion, or rather infusions. Let me know what you think below, and also, side note, dear Arenanet development team, please make infusions previewable in-game. Many thanks, signed all people who would like to see what they're buying in-game. Kiss kiss, hug hug. But don't leave yet, I have one more ray of joy to share with you. If you are a support player in WvW and or are thinking about jumping into the game type, here's what the devs have to say. Calling all support role players in World vs. World, it's time for you to fill your bags with heavy loot bags. We've adjusted how skill participation credit is awarded to support players, which should bring their rewards more in line with damage role players. So, I can confirm things are better. We do not have perfect parity, but before there were crickets and now there are loot bags, so thank you very much. Now, if you are looking to get into World vs. World, Hardstock has many great up-to-date builds, as well as Metabata and a few other sites. I'll link them below in the doobly-doo. And here endeth the newsy bit. The rest are my thoughts and a wish list for future content for WvW. So, firstly, what do I think about changing from server to guild-based grouping? I'm very happy about the restructuring. It finally aligns World vs. World with the other game types in how players interact, or rather, don't interact with their servers outside of international regions. So, the thumbs, they are up. What do I think about the new shiny rewards? I love them. They are a great incentive for new or returning players to get into WvW. I do, however, think veterans need something more robust to get their teeth into, something legendarily epic, which will challenge their significant resources. Off the top of my head, perhaps a World vs. World exclusive legendary weapons series, earned via reward tracks and achievements and treasure hunts and crafting and so on and so forth. Similar to the World vs. World armor and aesthetics, perhaps we could have some glowy tentacle weapons. See, this is why I'm not a designer. Anyway, moving on. So, there could be visually distinct siege weapons to earn, unlocked again via World vs. World achievements, reward tracks, or even, dare I say it, on the gem store. If you want to give me a big old slap in the comments for saying that, you can go ahead. That is completely fair, but hear me out. If World vs. World is a viable revenue source, then the devs will be allowed to direct even more time and resources towards it. Arenanet is a creative endeavor for sure, one which I love and admire, but it is a business, and businesses exist to generate profit. Anyway, moving on. What would I like to see in the future for World vs. World. Okay, this is very simple. More maps. The ones we have at the moment are lovely, but there has not been a new map for players to explore since Heart of Thorns released. And that's a fair old bit of time ago. And here we are in the Daddy, I Want a Pony section of the video. So, I would love to see existing PvE maps converted into alternative reality borderlands in the Mist, which is basically where we are. We're the same place as the Fractals. So imagine, say, New Kayang City as a World vs. World map. Replace Lords with Jade Brotherhood leaders and Zhonglai captains and Imperial overseers. The undead and spirit forces too could play their part as a foil for the player. They could even be a fully formed faction themselves if the devs want to add a bit of spice to the mix. The players, we would ally with one of these factions and strive to wipe the other off the map. Now there would of course need to be some tweaks. Tweaking meaning months of work on, for example, walls being made to function as they do in regular World vs. World maps. There would need to be some restructuring to make buildings completely sealed so that they could act as the castles and keeps. But I love the idea of World vs. World players getting to explore the new expansion maps as well as PvE players so that they have their own expansion experience, which I feel is something that is desperately missing right now from the game. Having an Ender Dragons map would also allow WvW players the chance to have access to and use of Jade bots, one of the expansion features that they've never got their hands on, and perhaps even skiffs, another expansion feature that they've never got to play with in their game type. The skiffs could be used in Kayang City, for example, to ferry supplies from one part of the map to another. Perhaps even skimmers could be used to traffic resources around the map. The Dragon's End metamap too could be converted into a Mist map, with Jade Brotherhood versus the Speakers versus the Forces of Void. Going back to Heart of Thorn, Auric Basin could be converted into a new version of the Eternal Battlegrounds. Even Divinity's Reach or the Black Citadel could be expanded into a new map for World v World shenanigans. Honestly, half of the fun of World v World for the veteran players is finding the perfect place to put your siege, finding the sneakiest place to hide when you're a mesmer or thief infiltrator, discovering the best locations to skirmish, where the choke points are to avoid, where the hides are, and there is just something wonderful and exciting about getting to explore a new map. I want to dispel that Groundhog Day feeling that there is in the World v World community. I want them to have new, shiny things associated with the expansions that they own. Honestly, this is just me spitballing, but the devs could use any existing map as a jumping off point, exploring alternative histories and futures much like they do in the Fractals of the Mist. It truly is an undiscovered country where the only creative limit is the imagination and budget of its shapers. And let's be real, the devs are fantastic at making beautiful, immersive, challenging environments. They are almost a character in and of themselves. And I would truly love to see World v World players get access to more mounts, at least more ground mounts. They are such an iconic part of the game. Guild Wars 2 is a genre leader in this area. And the fact that World v World is so locked down in this department is just a crying shame. It's a missed opportunity. It's sad for the players in there. They would love to interact and have more access to all the bells and whistles that have been added over the years to the game. And I hope the devs can give that to them. Honestly, a map built around siege turtles would be brilliant and perfectly thematic. I mean, we could even get a new version of the Jade Quarry from Factions, Juggy running for future generations, if you like. If you know what I'm talking about, you are truly a veteran of the game. But honestly, I think I've gone on long enough. I will not keep you any longer. Please do like this video, subscribe for more like it, and show some love to my wonderful supporters on Patreon and Subscribestar, who really do keep the lights on here. I honestly could not continue without them, so much love and many hugs to you all. If you want to jump into Guild Wars 2 for free, or fancy splashing out on the End of Dragons expansion, or if you're watching this video later, the new expansion, which I don't know the name of yet, but it will be down in the doobly-doo below. The referral links are there. Thanks to the generosity of Arenanet and their partner program. Using any of the links below costs you not a penny more, not a brass farthing, and not a penny at all for free-to-play accounts. However, it helps out the channel enormously. But sadly, we have come to the very end, so until we meet again, please stay safe, stay awesome, and thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.